Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders is unveiling an updated version of his universal health care bill known as Medicare for All. The bill is reportedly being co-sponsored by 14 Democratic senators, including 4 of Sanders' opponents in the 2020 primary. He appeared alongside one of them, New York Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, to announce the updated bill in Washington today. For Sanders, it's a much different spot compared to where he was 4 years ago when he lost the Democratic nomination to Hillary Clinton. Now he's the highest performing candidate in most national polls, trailing only former Vice President Joe Biden, who isn't officially running at this time. Sanders sat down with our Ed O'Keefe yesterday, and he talked about what it's like to be in front of the pack.
Comfortable being on top?
Look, I am where I am. Would I rather be on top than down below? Yeah, I guess so. I mean, again, but I don't take it all that seriously. It's a long, long campaign, and I think there are going to be different people on top and different people on below. And what happens is on Election Day, not today. But I'll tell you what I am proud of, and I sincerely am. And I don't credit myself for doing this alone. A lot of people were involved in the struggle. During the 2015-2016 campaign, we took ideas, as you suggest, to the American people that were considered to be pretty far out there, right? Pretty radical ideas. Well, it turns out that once you explain those ideas to the American people, it turns out it's not so radical after all. People say, yeah. Let me give you just one example. 4 years ago when I ran for president, we talked about raising the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour. 4 years ago, Ed, you'll acknowledge, that was a pretty radical idea, right? Well, since then, 6 states have now passed $15 an hour minimum wage legislation. And I suspect the House will pass that bill probably in the next month or two. Why is that? Because the American people know that if you work 50, 60 hours a week, you should not be living in poverty. The same thing for making public colleges and universities tuition free. Radical idea a few years ago, not so radical today. And certainly Medicare for all. That idea that health care is a human right, not a privilege, has come a long, long way.
So in some ways you lost that campaign, but you may have won the argument.
Well, you could say that, yeah.
One of the other guys that's on top in some of these polls is Joe Biden, expected to get in as early as this month. What would you say is the biggest difference between you and him?
Well, look, I've known Joe for many, many years, and I like Joe. Joe is a friend of mine, and if Joe gets into the race, I look forward to having a good issue-oriented debate with him and with other candidates. And one thing I'm quite confident of is that among the Democratic candidates, there is an understanding that we should not be attacking each other on personal levels, that there should be an open debate about the ideas that we believe in, what we hope to do as president, and, by the way, that at the end of this whole process, and I certainly hope that I win it, others hope they win it, but at the end of the process, it's a coming together to defeat Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in the modern history.